So last time, Niall sent some warning shots. We got a glimpse of the Duncans' past. Brandon met his demise, and Brother Minister got caught slipping. Want to know what happens next? Stay tuned. Hey, y'all, it's Lighten Up with Letitia. I'm Letitia, your host, and welcome back to my channel. And if you're here because it's Tuesday, then you're here for the Family Business Season 5, and this is episode 8. Is it episode 7 or 8? And this is the episode titled Chickens Come Home to Roost. Now we're starting off with Paris, who is daydreaming about a sweeter time that she had with Niles. And they get to chatting about what they're gonna do to the day, and she embraces him, he embraces her. But when she comes out of the embrace, she notices that actually in real life, she's hugging Bobby the Beast Boy. So she spent the night with him. Now she was like, well, in her daydream, she was saying, let's spend the day together and everything. And Bobby was like, oh, I'd love to, but I really got to get with my protege, because I got this guy that I'm getting ready for, the big league. So we know we're talking about Peter from the Black Hamptons. Next thing you know, Cornelius knocks on the door and he says, special delivery, child. It is those roses again, those blue Ecuadorian roses being delivered for Paris at Bobby the Beast Boy's house. And he is not happy about it. You mean to tell me you got some man delivering flowers to my house? Now he bucked up on her. Paris. Paris was not even about to stand for that. She's like, I don't know who you think you're talking to. I ain't your girlfriend, and I ain't one of your groupies. You better watch your M&F mouth. And so he was like, well, I'm just saying, well, what's going on? She's like, I think, I didn't mean to bring this to you, but I think I have a stalker. He was like, okay, well, a stalker I can understand. I've had a few of those, myself, so first he says, you want me to call the police or whatever? She said, no, I got this. And she pulls out her blicky. He's really surprised, like, oh, okay, well, okay, you sure? I can send security so you don't have to go around with this. What are you doing with this anyway? Now he doesn't really know who she is. So that's the reason why he doesn't realize why she has that blicky. But anyway, moving on. He says, okay, well, I'm gonna see you later. He leaves out, and she, before she gets dressed, picks up the little card on the flowers, and the note says, miss me yet? So we do know that these flowers are from Niles. Now, how? We have no idea. Meanwhile, we're at the funeral for Brandon Jackson. And it is very sad. Everybody is crying, of course. And Roman is in the back. Now, he decides to walk up. Now, I don't know why he decided to do that, but he decided to walk up to the casket, and his mama goes off. Brandon's mama goes off. What the F is he doing here? Now, cussing all up in the church and everything. He said, I'm here to pay my respect. She was like, it's because of you that my baby is dead. So, blah, 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 blah. She's going off. They're trying to console her and everything. And he's yelling, it wasn't my fault. It wasn't my fault. But they ran his behind right up out of the funeral. Child, now meanwhile at the Hellfire Club, Junior is there partaking as usual, but he's sitting there talking to Antonio, who Antonio tells him, too much of that is not good for your health, sir. So he's talking about whatever it is you indulging in here at the Hellfire Club. But anyway, he then gets a call. Antonio gets a call from Dominique. It says that Donna is now one of us. So they did a flashback showing where DD and B, which was so Donna, Dominique, and Blade, which is Alejandro's sister, had Brother Minister hemmed up when they were walking him in the garden. And at this point, Brother Minister knows that basically he is the target. And so he's talking to Donna. He's saying, I think you're blinded by the money and the desire for power from that white devil. Can't you see that he's using you? He's using you and your son. And she's like, no, I'm doing this for me and my son. He says, no, you're using your son as an excuse. You want the power, and Allah is not pleased, and neither will those who hold me in high regard. So I implore you to think about what you're doing. And she points it at him, And he's saying, like, basically, think about what you're doing. Although he is very, very calm. And in the meanwhile, Dominique is talking to her in her ear, do it, do it. So his last words uttered were, may Allah forgive you. Pow! He's down on the ground. Why did Dominique say, well, maybe you should have called on Jesus? He might have saved you. That is not funny. But the way she said it was freaking hilarious. A mess. So anyway, she tells Donna, pop him again. And Donna looks down with absolutely no regard. And basically, I mean, there's no turning back now. So she did that double tap and popped him again. Now, in normal circumstances, if somebody is trying to get you or you get in a position to be able to get them off of you, I say double tap to make sure they stay down so you can get away. But in this case, of course, Brother Minister had no reason to have to be laying on that ground like that. And it was sad. And I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that Brother Minister is actually gone. So again, now, I mean, there's no turning back now at this point. So she really is one of them now. So now we're back at the conversation that Dominique is having with Antonio. And Antonio gets off the phone and tells Junior, I guess, a toast is in order. Your mother made her bones. And I also believe that your mother has started a war. See, this is why I'm so mad at Junior right now anyway, and Donna, because they can't see exactly what Brother Minister just said. Antonio is using them, and that's exactly what he's doing. He's trying to start a war with LC Duncan, and they're gonna blame it on Donna. Now, meanwhile, we're back at Rome. He's leaving the funeral. LoJack runs out and follows him and confronts him about even coming in the first place. He said he was my best friend. You know that. You know I didn't have anything to do with it. He said I just came to show my respects. And LoJack was like, you can't show your respects. He said you can after we're gone. So Roman leaves. He's crying, but he does leave. Now back at this Hellfire Club, who child? Okay, so Junior is carrying on with some new 304, and in walks Sonia. Lavernius Duncan Jr., have you lost your damn mind? Now, everybody, of course, is looking. She was like, nah, ignoring me is one thing, but this right here, this social media ish is disrespectful. So she is showing him a picture of where he is on social media with this same trick. Dancing it up, living it up, or doing whatever they do with the Hellfire Club. And child, he was like, I didn't do that. I didn't post that. I didn't put any of that out there, whatever. Child, come to find out this trick did that. She's the one who posted it. Not only did she post it, she tagged Junior in it as well. But Sonia was about to tag her, you know what I'm saying, telling her to get up out of here. I'm not going anywhere. I'm like, now this is a real bold whoa. Because girl, what? Why are the women at the Hellfire Club are supposed to be demure and relaxed, not hyped up like this itch was. Anyway, then at this point, because they hollering right inside the Hellfire Club, at this point, the uncle speak up. Senior Cruz was first. He was like, Junior, take your wife outside and go handle your business. You ain't my daddy. You think you my daddy? He said, no, I'm not your daddy, but we can call him. So then Juan, he pipes up. Juan stands up, was like, you know what? You've been an embarrassment long enough. And what you need to do, and this is not a request, take your wifey, go outside, handle your business. And he was like, you don't tell me what to do, whatever. The only reason why I'm leaving is because I don't want to make a scene. And Detroit Red speaks up and is like, you didn't already make a scene, child. So Juan tells him, get out of here. Like I just told you, this is not a request. He was bucking on him like, I'm about to whoop your tail. And Junior was like, you don't tell him, sit your simple ass down before I make change. Now, nope, you are not Nino Brown Jr. You're doing too much. You talking to your uncles real crazy. They have known you, especially Juan. Juan was your daddy, is your daddy's best friend. He has known you since you were a kid, pretty much. I'm gonna need you not to be talking to your uncles like that before he whoop up on your tail. Okay. Finally, he decided him and Sonia go outside finally because they was just making too much noise and doing entirely too much, disrupting everybody's good time up in the Hellfire Club, right? So um, then this trick started talking. That girl, I don't know, remember her name. That's why I'm calling her a trick. But why was she talking crazy? Tell me something. Can you believe her? I mean, what is she? Who does she think she is? Whatever. Blah blah blah. Can you believe this? So Consuela, child, she came out of the shadows and was like, "Well, believe this. You're effing fired. We don't do messy around here, and you a messy bitch." Ramon. She calls Ramon to come over there to help me take out this trash. Now, clearly she was fired from her job, but the way she called Ramon, child, I think the lady is fired from life too. Moving on. Then Sonia and Junior go outside, and he was like, "How you just gonna embarrass me like that?" She was like, "Embarrass you, boy? You've been embarrassing me for the last several months. You know what is going on? You in here acting like you are not a married man. You know, what do you want from me? You know, I love you. I want us to work this out, but what you want me to do?" He was like, "I just need a little space. Just give me a little space. Can you do that?" So she's like, "You want some space so you could be here at a brothel, so you could be here at the Hellfire Club? You know what? Bet. Take all the space you need. I'm done talking to you. I'm not calling you. I'm not texting you. Good effing bye." And she leaves out. Child, meanwhile, Nevada is in the Hellfire Club as well, looking for his mama, and he runs into his Uncle Juan. So he's like, "Oh, have you seen my mom?" He said, "No, she's around here somewhere, but child, we just got through dealing with your Uncle Junior. Your Uncle Junior and your Aunt Sonia, the whole situation, they're just a hot mess." And so he was like, "Oh, okay, well let me go try to find her." So he ends up running into Junior, who was about now he didn't went on with the festivities. He just got through arguing with his wife outside. His wife outside comes inside to partake on another bit. Gia. So Gia trying to take him to the room and everything, and Nevada comes up and says, Uncle Junior. And so Uncle Junior was like, "What? You judging me now too?" He said, "No, I'm not judging you. I feel sorry for you." "Well, what you mean?" He's like, "I ain't talking about your illicit actions. You out here cheating on your wife. I'm talking about you." And so Junior was like, "Well, you need to mind your business before I tell your mama, have a conversation with your mom." He was like, "You can have all the conversations you want to with my mom because I'm still going to be here telling you the truth. You acting like you're the only one hurting and you're not." And he said, so Junior says, "You was just a kid. You just a kid. You don't know anything," and walks off, right? Nevada was like, "Don't walk away from me, hypocrite." Now, you know, he turned himself back around like, "Hypocrite, hypocrite. Who you think you talking to? You better watch your mouth. You better watch your tone." He said, "I ain't watching nothing. Because you mad because the truth hurts? Y'all did the exact same thing to me. Y'all knew that my mom was alive." Now, this is Nevada talking, "and y'all did not tell me. As a matter of fact, the very first memory I have of my mother is when she busted up in our house with her minions, pointing all kinds of blickies at us." Remember, back in back in season, I believe it was season 1, where Consuela was in major grief over her other son. His name was Miguel. And she had declared war on everybody. She's the reason why Senor Cruz, her brother, is in the wheelchair because she popped him. She also popped and unalived their favorite uncle. And then she went on a war path for LC, and it was not Chippy had the information about the fact that Nevada was actually her son. And then she broke down in tears when he introduced himself. And that's the reason why she was able to call off that war. But nobody does ever think about the fact that because Nevada was just like 14 or 15 years old then, that he didn't have any feelings about it. And I love how he gathered up his uncle behind this situation because He was like, you ain't the only person that ever dealt with secrets and lies and betrayal in this family. You ain't the only one hurting behind it. Junior didn't have nothing to say then except for the fact that, oh, you was just a kid. He said, no, you need to get your ish together. Period. I was a kid and I got my ish together. The family needs you and not just Aunt Donna. You have a wife. And he walked off on Junior, leaving him stunned. And here comes Gia trying to rekindle that moment. He was like, I am not even in the mood. Now, meanwhile, Sonia then went home. Child, she on the telephone, making an appointment. She verified with the person she was talking to that she can terminate up to 16 weeks. So you know who she's calling. Child, she set that appointment for Thursday at 3 p.m. and hung up. Then London confronted her and said, hey, I just wanted to check on you. Are you pregnant? And does Junior know? She was like, no, he doesn't know, and I don't want nobody else to know. She's like, why don't you want anybody else to know? Because it's my business and it's my body, and I need y'all to respect my decision the same way y'all respecting Junior's space. So London said, okay, hands off, but if you need anything, I'm here. Sonia told her, listen, the only thing I need you to do is to keep your mouth shut. Now, meanwhile, after the repast, after the funeral and everything, Brenda's mom is thanking folks for coming. And Rio comes up to pay his respects. She goes off again. What are you doing here? Why you stalking my son? He's gone. And she even accused him of being involved with unaliving Brandon. And LoJack had to step in like, no, he didn't know anything about it. I know him. I know him and his family. This is Rio Duncan. And so she was like, okay, well, that's fine. But still, Brandon is gone and you can go too. So LoJack pulls him aside and says, hey, listen, the person you want, the person you're looking for is Roman Johnson. You're looking to avenge some things, whatever you need to get with Roman Johnson. To which Rio makes a quick call to Nevada to get the details on Roman. He sent that information so quickly. Found out that he lives in Brooklyn, and he sent that information immediately. Now, we get to the hospital, and Miss Margaret, or Miss Coretta, actually came to see Miss Margaret at the hospital. And Miss Margaret asked about the funeral. She asked if Roman came, and they were like, of course he did. She was like, but they ran him out, whatever, because they called him responsible for Brandon. And Miss Margaret was like, they're just, of course he was going to come. Of course he wanted to pay his respects. They were best friends. They were just like brothers. And Coretta says, and speaking of brothers, I saw the other baby boy. And we're looking like, what? The other baby boy? So Miss Margaret's like, oh, that's beautiful. How did he look? Does he look like Roman? She was like, listen, well, he was looking sharp. He had this pink hair, so I think he's gay. But he has, he was sharp. He was dressed real sharp and everything. And so Miss Margaret was like, oh, I wish I could see him. And maybe she will. Now, back at the mansion, Mariah comes to tell Uncle Elsie that breakfast is ready, and Aunt Chippy said, come on before it gets cold. But in the meanwhile, he gets a call from Christopher Johnson back from the Hamptons to call to say that their mutual friend is ready to help. And Uncle Elsie was appreciative of all of his help and everything. Christopher says, yes, it was risky, but like you said, the only way to fight the government is with the government. And they decided that they will meet soon to talk about payment because they didn't want to talk about it over the phone. But he's told him that in the meanwhile, the Duncans should probably lay low. So they got off the phone. He goes to eat with the family and he asks where everybody is. So we found out that Paris had taken a spending the night back, right? Because she was with Bobby. And then Rio, he is still in the bed because, he don't get up till 4 p.m. But Nevada said, yeah, but we don't really know where my dad or Uncle O are. We haven't seen them since yesterday. To which Aunt Chippy says, okay, yeah, they said they had to make a run, but we haven't heard back from them. And I had to get Sonia to help me to administer the baby's medication. Not to mention he's been asking for his dad ever since he left. So we know where Vegas and Orlando are. They hemmed up in somebody's country jail right now. So Uncle Elsie's okay. Well, I'll go to, I'll find out about it and I'll go and try to check on them. Now, meanwhile, Rio is outside of Roman's home because I told you Nevada gave him that information. And he said, yeah, and this fool has the nerve to have the same birthday as me. Don't forget that part. Okay, so he goes up to knock on the door. Nobody answers, but a neighbor comes up and says, "Oh, I don't think that they're home. Who are you looking for?" So when he says Roman, he said, "Oh, he's probably over at the hospital. His mom Margaret is sick, is terminally ill. So if you go over there, please tell her that I'm praying for her and that we're thinking about her." So and that boy Roman, he loves his mama so much, he doesn't know what he would do if something happened to him or if something happened to her. But Rio wastes no time. He goes straight to the hospital, and Miss Margaret wakes up and thought she was seeing a ghost. She said, "Oh, I know who you are. You look just like my Roman." And Rio's like, you know me?" She said, "Yes, since the day you were born. I'm so sorry. I should have kept you two together." So he's like, "Who?" She said, "You and your brother. My Roman is your brother." What? She then goes into a fit before she could say anything else. She started breathing really crazy, whatever, but all the alarms started going and she needed medical attention. So they had to clear the room, and Rio was in disbelief. He's trying to get her to say something else, but he shooed out. And he's like, "What is going on?" So, of course, he immediately calls Chippy, who is in a rush. She's trying to get him off the phone. He's like, "Ma, I need to know, am I adopted?" She's like, "Boy, no. People are just saying that stuff to you because of your hair, because of the way your hair looks, all the different colors for your hair, not because of actually how you look. I don't have time for this. I'm going to have to talk to you later about this, but absolutely not. You are not adopted." So then next thing you know, we go to another scene where Curtis and Mariah is pulling up to some undisclosed location, right? This is where you know that Uncle Curtis or Cousin Curtis he's the ultimate cousin. He does anything for all of his people. He loves his family, right? So he's like, "Are you sure about this, Mariah?" She said, "Yeah, I'm sure. I'm gonna go by myself. I'll be right back." Next thing you know, child, we see Harris. Harris is alive and looking and doing well. So she goes to hug her daddy, and he was like, "Oh, you found me. You figured it out. You found me." And she said, "Yeah." And they went through this like childhood riddle that he would tell her all the time. So I guess somehow it gave her a clue as to where he would be. So they get to chatting a little bit. He asked, like, can you trust Curtis?" And she replies, like, Curtis and Nevada are the only ones that she actually does trust. Now, Harris tells her, "Now, listen, I'm going to need you to be brave for me. I'm going to have to move away and lay low for a while." But she was like, "Why? Mimi and I miss you. We want you to come back." But he tells her that he has some really bad people after him so that no one can know that she actually saw him. We have to keep this on the down low. But I heard that you was having a hard time, so I definitely had to come and see about you. Now she was like, "Now how did you hear that?" Now he says, "I still have resources back at the house." Now, remember when we thought that C Note was being real shifty? It makes me wonder if C Note is still reporting back to Harris. Now that would be a cool thing. However, I still feel like, well, if you can, I'm just speculating, but I'm like, if you can do that for Harris, then surely you can keep tabs on Uncle LC. But I digress. I won't go there again. They hug, they say their goodbyes. Harris nods at Curtis, and then they go on their merry way. Now, remember I told you Aunt Chippy was rushing, so she rushed because she got really quickly over to Junior and Donna's house. Now, this is the first time that they have seen each other face to face, but she said it was so important to be able to talk face to face. And he first thing he says is "Hi, ma," and then he hurries up and corrects himself and said, "I mean, what are you even doing here?" And so he was like, "I told you I don't want to talk." She said, "You don't have to talk. If you don't want me to touch you up." She tried to hug him. He didn't want to be touched. She said, "Okay, that's fine too, whatever. But you will respect me enough to listen to what I'm saying. I didn't come over here to offer any explanations or even give you an apology about what me, your daddy, or Donna did to you." It was very important for her to say that the three of them did that to him as opposed to just Elsie and Chippy. She said, "This is more important." Now, here go Junior talking about some, yeah, mom already told me what y'all did to her. So Aunt Chippy says, "Well, based on your actions, it's clear that she didn't tell the whole story and that she manipulated to make it look like she was the victim when that's not the case." And so he said, "Well, I'm the only victim in this situation." She said, "But you're not the only one. Your wife is devastated. And not only that, she's also pregnant. So while you're processing your feelings, your unborn child is suffering." And she goes to leave, but not without turning around to say, "Junior, we still love you very much." Now we go back to Bobby's house, and Bobby and Paris are playing pool. Next thing you know, Darnell walks in with Rio. So she introduces everybody to her brother. And when they were alone, he was like, "You out here with Bobby the Beast Boy? Ain't he engaged?" See, I told you. Remember, I told you he was supposed to be with Karen. Moving on though, not even gonna go there. But she says, "Girl, boy, I don't care, whatever he doing, But he said, "But seriously, do you think I'm adopted?" She was like, "Yep, yep, I sure do, whatever." He was like, "I'm not playing." She was like, "What are you talking about? You know that you're not adopted." And he's like, "Well, people are always saying we don't look alike, we're twins, we're identical twins." But I'm like, "Sir, you're a boy and a girl. You're clearly fraternal twins." But anyway, ciao. So anyway, he goes to explain that they found the carjackers, found out that Brandon was deceased, but that Roman's mother was terminally ill. And she said that both he and Roman were brothers. So Paris was like, "That woman's probably delusional. She's probably under a lot of medication." And he said, "No, it sounded like she was on a deathbed confessional tip." So she made him promise. Well, she didn't actually make him, but she told him to promise not to go after Roman. But he was like, "I can't help it. But look what even what's happening with Junior right now. So it's not too far fetched. You know, um, I'm gonna go talk to somebody who I know will have all the answers." So he's gonna go and talk to his mom. And then in the last scene, we see at the hospital, all of the sirens and the machines are going off, and we see Roman running through the hall to get to his mom's room. But unfortunately, they could not revive her, and Miss Margaret is gone. So she hasn't gotten a chance to tell him the same thing she told Rio or anything else. But like she told Miss Aunt Coretta, whatever that secret is or was, she was gonna take it to the grave, and that's exactly what she did. But Roman cries, he's upset, and he kisses her for the last time. So that was the end of the episode. So if you've made it to this point, make sure you like, share, comment, and subscribe. Let's talk in the comments about what you thought about this episode. I mean, we just have a few episodes left, and now we're starting to unfold some of the things that's going on with Roman. So we know that Roman and Rio are brothers, but Rio is Paris's twin. So that would have to mean that Roman is also Paris's brother. But we'll find out next time, hopefully. Okay. So again, thank you for being here. And don't forget to check out my new segment, Rewind the Light, Black Sitcom Spotlight, because we are talking on Sundays about those things, the nostalgia of Black sitcoms, in order for us to view them in today's light. But we're laughing about it, we're taking a look back, and we're truly enjoying all types of Black joy surrounding our favorite Black sitcoms. So I hope you will join me. And until next time, holla!